Hey everybody, it's Chase with AV Pop Culture again, and with today's release of A Nightmare on Elm Street in 4K, I figured it was finally time that this would be the perfect day for me to go ahead and finally rank the Nightmare on Elm Street movies. So pop that tape in, I got you, let's go do this. All right, so A Nightmare on Elm Street, as of right now, I still think this is the best set that we have. But today we have a 4K. Now, some of us have had it early, but today we officially have the 4K release of A Nightmare on Elm Street. I did a full review of this several days ago. If you want to see a full 4K deep dive into the color, the aspects, I explain a lot of things from a fan and filmmaker's perspective. I have that full video up. Make sure you check it out. But today is going to be about fun because today is my ranking from worst to best of these iconic films that gave me so many nightmares as a child. This is a series that's very partial to me because this is the first horror movie I ever recall seeing, and I was only like 6 years old when it hit the movie rental stores. So this is a big deal. A lot of time and thought went into this list, so let's get to it. All right, so first up on the list is one that I don't have, and I will probably never have it. I consider it that Abomination, and that is the remake of A Nightmare on Elm Street. Now, if you're a fan of it, more power to you. I've seen the movie maybe twice, and I don't care if I ever see it again. Really, I just don't feel like it has. First of all, like the worst parts of the movie, my man Brian over at the Last Movie Standing, he did a little review of this a while back. Make sure you check out his video. And he's right. Like the worst parts of this movie are when Freddy is on screen. And it's just, I think it's 2010, this movie. And it's just worlds apart for me from the original. Freddy is not scary. When he talks, he's a joke to me. None of it works for me. None of it. Except for the cinematography. The cinematography in the movie is beautiful. Brian goes into that, and he's absolutely right. The cinematography in it is beautiful, but that's it for me. That's it. And the girl who you want to be the final girl, which is played by Katie Cassidy, I think, she doesn't end up being the final girl. And I'm just going to throw a spoiler warning out here on this in case you haven't seen any of these movies. But yeah, definitely it's just not there for me. So the remake, I don't even think about it really when I think about ranking these movies, but I thought, I better put it in, or people ask me why it's not here. It's here. It's just there's canyons and canyons and canyons at the bottom of the list before you get to it. So the remake, that remake Abomination, comes in at number 9 on the list. All right, at number 8 on my list is Freddys Dead, The Final Nightmare. We're gonna get all these in 4K. I mentioned a couple months ago, it's coming. I will own every Freddy movie, every Nightmare on Elm Street movie that comes to 4K. This one's odd to me. It's got some weird placed cameos. If I'm not mistaken, you've got like Roseanne Barr and Tom Arnold, and I think Johnny Depp makes a cameo in this. I have not rewatched this one in a little while, mostly because it's just not one of my favorites. It's kind of like a little bit of a messy plot to this thing. The narrative, like the movie is just a little bit confusing. Like Freddy has a long lost daughter. I don't know. You've got 3D that's planning to go on and that was planning to go on and happen in here. I I don't know. I mean, you're got. Hold on, let me see if I can fix this. I feel like it's trying to do focusing. You have get back to this. The camera is going wonky. You have like Freddie's long lost daughter, and she's like counseling kids at an orphanage or something. She ends up with a fist fight. I don't know. This movie is just like the narratively, it's just kind of all over the place for me. So it comes in a little lower. But I mean, I never, I always still enjoy seeing Robert Englund don the sweater and the glove and the hat. All right, next up on the list is, and some of you are going to be surprised that this one's this low, maybe, but A Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2. Freddys Revenge for me. If you didn't know, Wes Craven himself he was going to direct this, but when he saw the script that they were going with, he said no. He said, that's not the Freddy story that makes sense to me. It's not A Nightmare on Elm Street. It's not a direction that I was trying to take this franchise or this character or the story. There's no final girl. He didn't like that it was switched to a guy. He didn't like some of the other stuff there. It does have its very scary moments. You've got the body, I got the brain, and all that kind of stuff. But I don't know. For me, it's not like it's not one that I'm gonna go to first. You're gonna see the one. I feel like the top part of this list I watch a lot, and then the bottom part of the list I hardly ever watch. So it's very interesting thing to me. This one I definitely remember seeing when it came out, but it's just not one that I don't have as much love for it as others, and the script is part of the reason why, and Wes Craven didn't like that script either. So for me, Freddys Revenge comes in at number 7. All right, next up on my list is, I got my notes over here too. Next up on my list is The Dream Child. I'm trying to make it where these don't all reflect so much. But I don't know. The Dream Child has its moments. There is a lot of gore, like more gore in this that I feel like is kind of used for shock value. And, there's like, I mean, the fact that like you have this, what is she, like a model, and she's like on a diet, like one of the characters like a model who's on a diet, and I don't know what's going on with my camera. She's like a model who's on a diet, and like he makes her eat her own guts, basically, like her own organs. You get Weston Hills Psychiatric Hospital in here. Is this the it kind of pops up throughout the series. Freddy's, you see Freddy's mother give birth to, I don't know, like it's another one that I feel like is slightly a mess. So like these, I feel like there was a point where they were trying to crank some of these out so fast that it was just like, let's just get Freddy out here and do some cool shit and some gross stuff. Let's throw that. Freddy, what he like, I think it shows his mom giving birth to him, and he like rips his way out of her or whatever. I'm going to be honest, I probably have not seen this one in, probably 7-8 years. I've probably not popped this one in. But Nightmare on Elm Street, The Dream Child comes in at number 6. Now we're into the top 5, and we're into the ones that I like watch more. Now the 5th one is kind of like on that level of like, do I watch it a lot or do I not watch it a lot? And I do watch it more than the ones that we've talked about so far, but not as much as the ones that are going to come after it. So it sits like right on that line right there. And I am talking about The Dream Master. Now, The dream, and I never thought about it really. There's a lot of dream in the titles, which I mean, I guess makes sense for Nightmare on Elm Street film, but you don't really like think about the titles until you're like, man, dream, 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 dream. But this one's from 1980. I think this is 88. When this one came out, and guys, I don't know what's going on with my camera right now, but this one's from 1988, and like by this time, like Freddy was super popular costume, like Halloween costume. I mean, he was like ubiquitous everywhere for with kids and everything. Like he had kind of this is where he kind of started going past being just scary and being kind of like a fun icon. Like this is when I first remember them like showing commercials of him like with sunglasses on and being, like super jokey, like just so mainstream Freddy. This one you have characters like surviving characters from the Dream Warriors in this, and now they are like helping kids in the next one. So like they're the ones that are left over, and I think it's Kristen and Ronald are the two, and Kristen and Ronald, and is it Joey from the Dream from the Dream Warriors, and they are trying to they're like a year released from Weston Hills themselves, and it's like that all just happened. They survived it, and now they find themselves like right back into the situation with Freddy again. I feel like when this one was made, this was like going along with there was like a TV series at the time that was coming, which was Freddy's Nightmares, and there was like a writer's strike that was about to happen at this time, so they really rushed the production, and the word is that they had to like change the script, cut the script down so that they could hurry up and get it in there. And so the script was not finished. So it like the actors had to like improvise a lot of stuff in this movie. And that can kind of also leave you with a little bit of a mess. But to me, it's still better than the Dream Child, but it can't be up there with the others at the top of this list. It's like, I think even the writer on this got like a story by credit. I don't know if there's actually a screenwriter credited in this film because it wasn't finished. So as far as script goes, so interesting take there, but still fun seeing Freddy nonetheless. And Nightmare on Elm Street, The Dream Master. It comes in at number 5 on our list. All right, now we're definitely into my favorites here. This is coming in at number 4 on my list, and some of you might be surprised to see that this is this low, but is The Dream Warriors. The Dream Warriors I friggin' love. It has some of the best kills ever. You have you have Heather Langenkamp. She's helping kids who are in Weston Hills who are basically people think they're crazy, but they're being pursued and tormented by Freddy. She's trying to help them out. You have some of the craziest kills ever. You have the marionette kill where Freddy gets the guy by his tendons and stuff and controls him and walks him off the building. You have one of my favorite kills where Freddy is like, it's like a I Want My MTV thing, and Freddy turns into the TV. TV is his body, and he sprouts the arms and the heads, and he grabs the girl and smashes her face into there, into himself. Bitch. I Want My Fred TV. That made my top kills of all time in horror movies. You have the fingers turning into syringes for the one girl who's a former junkie. Absolutely crazy. But I also love the fact that like Heather Langenkamp teaches them how to fight back. So you have the one guy who's strong and he fights. I think that's Ronald, right? And he survives to go on to the next movie. I can't remember for sure. I might be wrong about that. Might be getting their names mixed up. But I like the fact that they like fight back in this movie. So, because I'm totally into that. I think that's super cool. This is one of my favorites. This is one that I do watch a lot, and I think it's just very clever, very well done. And you have Heather Langenkamp back, and for me that counts a lot. And A Nightmare on Elm Street: Dream Warriors comes in at number 4 on my list. At number 3 on my list is Icon versus Icon. You can argue with me if you want to, but Freddy versus Jason, to me, is an absolute blast. And I actually think it works better as a Nightmare on Elm Street movie than it does a Jason movie. Because like so much of the stuff involves nightmares. Like he even has to go into Jason's nightmare or into Jason's dreams to wake Jason up and control him and all that kind of stuff. So Jason goes to Elm Street. They think it's Freddy. It gives Freddy his power back. You've got Weston Hills. You got Hypnosil in here now too, making another appearance into the story. But I mean, as a kid of the 80s, to see Freddy and Jason go at it is just so much fun. And to like see into the psyche and the nightmares of Jason is pretty trippy. And you get to see that thanks to Freddy, seeing them fight over kills. I mean, this is like seeing you know, Rambo and the Terminator go at it back in the day. Like, I mean, that it was that equivalent for me. And seeing that, and of course I was an adult because I was like in my mid 20s when this came out, but it didn't matter. I was a kid again seeing this, and maybe nostalgia goggles, maybe all that. You can say what you want to. I don't care. I'll watch it again and again. I think it's a lot of fun. And, I know some people don't like the Jason in this movie. Man, it's Jason versus Freddy. Yeah, Freddy versus Jason. That's what it is. And I don't care who plays him. It's a lot of fun. Comes in for me at number 3 on my list. At number 2 on my list is one I've talked about on the channel a lot. I don't think this movie gets enough credit. I think people crap on this movie. This movie was light years ahead of its time. I am talking about Wes Craven's A New Nightmare. This is the forerunner for Scream right here. This was the testing ground for Scream. You get Heather Langenkamp back again. You get Robert Englund in this movie as himself and as Freddy Krueger. Wes Craven is in this film. And not only is it a testing ground for, like, does the meta, like, self-aware stuff, talking about horror movies, does all of that work in a horror movie that he would bring to Scream just a couple of years later? This is the testing ground for it. If you ever hear him talk about this movie, he talks about how, or well, I mean, you have to go back and watch now, obviously, but like he talked about how in this movie, Freddy is a stand-in for the devil, and how basically our stories and movies hold evil in place and give it a form. And the evil has to abide by the rules of the form that it takes, which is very, very Stephen King. That's what he lays out in the movie It. That the evil has to abide by the form that it takes, the rules of the form that it takes, and we basically contained evil in the form of Freddy. But when we stopped making Freddy movies, it was out, it was freed. And it's a much, because if you watch the movie, he's a much darker, he's a scarier, more evil, genuinely evil Freddy, because it is a more pure version of that form. And Craven said he's basically a stand-in for the devil. We caught the devil on film. When you stop making the films, he's loose. And then you throw in all the meta stuff that he would do just 2 years later with Scream. I absolutely love this movie. I think it's super underrated. I think the performances are great. I have a lot of fun with this movie. So A New Nightmare comes in at number 2. And that just leaves number 1. And it had to be obvious on the day that the 4K comes out. A Nightmare on Elm Street, 1984. What can you say about it? I just did a whole huge review on it. It is my, first horror movie that I remember seeing. It is an absolute blast. It introduced the world to Freddy, an icon. You have Heather Langenkamp in here. You have a young Johnny Depp. You have two of the most insane and memorable kills in all of horror movie history here, with Johnny Depp obviously getting pulled down through the bed and all the blood gushing up. And of course, Tina getting killed and the slashes appearing and her rolling up the wall. Y'all, we had never seen things like that really before at that point in time. It was 1984. Very different. Two absolutely iconic kills. The introduction to an icon. Wes Craven creating an icon here and launching him even further into his career that gave us so many horror movies and iconic things like A Nightmare on Elm Street and Scream and Last House on the Left. So many things. But it started here with Freddy. It is the unquestioned number one. Though for me, believe it or not, it is closer than you think with A New Nightmare. I am just down for all the deep meaning behind that movie. But you still got to give the edge to the original. There's only one original. There's only one iconic first step. And it's A Nightmare on Elm Street, 1984. Coming in at number one on the day that the 4K gets dropped. And that is my list, my rankings of A Nightmare on Elm Street movies. I love the series. I love Freddy. It is the first horror movie I remember seeing in my life. And I will remember it and cherish it forever because of that. And let me know what you think of my list. I'm sure it is very different than a lot of yours. Give me your top three. Give me your top five. Rank them all for me if you want to. I'd be interested to hear your thoughts on your list and my list. And if you don't know, I just reached 5,000 subscribers and 1 million views in the little over 4 months that since I started AVA Pop Culture here. And I am so eternally grateful to all of you. I am going to be doing a 5,000 subscriber live stream celebration and giveaway on Wednesday night, tomorrow, Wednesday night, October 16th, starting at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We are going to do some fun giveaways, chat, talk, all that kind of stuff. We're going to have some trivia in there. I've got some amazing physical media stuff and bunch of things to give away that I've been holding on to for a while. I didn't think we'd get to 5,000 this fast, but here we are, and I am so grateful. And if you enjoyed this, please make sure that you are there tomorrow night. And if you are not going to be there and you still want a chance to win something, you can go to any of my videos and put in the comments, enter 5,000. Otherwise, you got to be subscribed and you got to be present during the live stream to win. I got some awesome stuff to give away, and I just really do appreciate it. If you enjoyed that, please like and subscribe. It does help out the channel. If you want to help support this channel, help it grow even more, you can join here at my Patreon link down below or at right here on YouTube. Get your name in lights and so much more, special access to videos, my filmmaking, and all kinds of things. But y'all, I really do appreciate it. Today was just a quick, fun video. I'm trying to get it out to you as fast as possible. I'm going to apologize about my camera here if it's trying to focus breathe. I am out of time. I have to go to a funeral today, and but I wanted to get out here and talk to you guys because this is my escape, and I love hanging out with you so much. But until next time, be kind, rewind like always. This is Chase with AV Pop Culture, and I'll see you real soon. Bye-bye. I know.